feels awkward to play this Batrider as your last pick in the game. Your last pick's supposed to change how the game state is, like change the entire draft. I don't know if Batrider does it.
Well, looks like EG might have their work cut out for him, despite some signature heroes coming out. But TNC looks like they have a very bursty, lineup as well. It's all about those team fights for them. Quick thoughts on the draft? Final thoughts, guys? Kyle?
No predictions.
No predictions, just
Please
final
don't.
thoughts. I don't predict here.
Think that there's a couple heroes I really like in this game, one on each team. Nature's Prophet carry has looked very good, even when it lost, when No Pink played it. And I think Luna in decider games has had a very good record throughout the tiebreakers and critical games in the playoffs.
Except for
it looks like you're about to make a prediction, so I'll cut you off right there. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 3, Evil Geniuses or TNC, one will survive, one will go home. Let's pass it on to our wonderful casters of Synderen and Sunsfan.
Thank you, friends. Sunsfan with Synderen. I really wanted to hear the Kyle prediction. I'm not going to lie. He has yet to be correct, which I think is what he's going for. So
it's kind of a crazy superpower to have. He can just inflict misery on people.
Oh, I know exactly how he feels sitting with you here, although we're standing, so that didn't actually make any sense. Let's get into the game before I say anything more idiotic, Synderen, but I'm sure we have a lot more of that to come.
You have a game ahead of you. You'll say something stupid. It's fine.
Just want to cast another highlight, a replay. But, Synderen, looking at these lineups, what are your thoughts? Are you surprised that they were able to get the Nature's Prophet as a final pick for EG when it had such great success last game, or game 1?
I'm not too surprised because I think TNC have decent solutions. Obviously, like you said, in game 1 it rolled them, but I think this time the conditions of the game are pretty different. TNC have better lanes. In game 1 they had Abaddon morph safely, and this time they have Ench Luna, possibly. Or Wyvern Luna, whichever one they want to place there, or they can move their lanes around. And I kind of disagree with the panel. I feel like they're downplaying a little bit how good the Batrider can be in this game. I think he has a lot of potential. Yes, you're playing against a 5 Abaddon. Abaddon is not always going to be in the right position at the right time. He can't always cover the Batrider's movements when Bat gets travels. And I just see Batrider being amazing against everything else, right? So I'd rather look at it as a glass half full thing for TNC than half empty, because a lot of the times when you do get these last picks and you wonder, you're like, they do have one counter. Usually you look at teams at this level will be looking at the bigger picture and seeing, okay, what does this give us? And sometimes the perfect pick doesn't exist, A lot of the times. It's the same for teams like Nigma. Historically, you watch their drafts and you're like, okay, this is a good pick, but... And then they just play around the but.
I'm not going to go where I want to right now.
Okay.
So the game begins, Synderen. Nice attempted bait there. Appreciate that. What do you think of this matchup, though? Batrider versus Ember. Obviously, you have the Flame Guard, but it is a melee hero after all. Which hero on paper do you think has that advantage, or is it?
It's a very Bat-favored lane.
Yep, okay.
Batrider beats basically every melee hero, more or less. The only heroes that can handle it are the ones with self-dispels. Once you hit level 3, 4, you should see the Batrider pull ahead. We saw a game yesterday where a Tiny held his ground until level 5 or 6. I believe that was Limp playing Bat against the Tiny of...
Was it Toronto, Tokyo?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it must have been, right? Because it was Alliance against Spirit, yeah. But after that, Tiny was also starting to lose the lane. So I think this time around it should be happening faster. You already see Batrider 5 and 3 against the Ember 1 and 0. So definitely losing the first 2 waves hard on Abed.
We've seen a lot of the Magnus success that we've seen, and we've talked about this at length before, is this whole blink skewer back into your team, kind of like the Mars effect. But I'm looking at the lineup here. I'm not saying it's bad necessarily for TNC, but it's not the same kind of effect from the other lineups that were successful. Do you think that matters that much, or is that just like, okay, that works for that lineup, this has its own kind of feel to it?
If I remember correctly, the lineup that you really liked was where there was a Mag Skewer and a Tiny Toss.
Yeah.
This time you have the Mag Skewer and the Lasso, so it's kind of similar, like 2 repositioning spells. And I think it's very important to note how good Skewer is against Abaddon. It's a really, really good counter to this specific defensive hero to reposition the enemy team, because his save is short range. It's very different from playing as Oracle, where sometimes you can still reach your False Promise. I think the cast range of a Aphotic Shield, I think, is still 400, I want to say. It's a really, really short cast radius, so just any Skewer, especially with the talent, will get heroes way out of the reach of Fly. And I think what EG should be looking for in this game is try to, similar to game number 1, get off to a good start in lanes and then play really fast. Like, you want to take these towers, you want to group up with and use your Timber so effectively. But already, compared to game 1, their lanes are not going half as well. They're actually losing all 3 by the looks of it. Maybe slight lead at bottom, actually.
Armel is bodying Abed right now.
Completely.
He has double the CS right now. You talked about that being the advantage for the Batrider, but I mean, how much do you just get? Well, he's going to pressure him here. This would be a pretty big kill if he's able to get it with this much of a disadvantage, but looks like he'll be able to use the tower for cover. I mean, Ember, one of these heroes that, I guess, do you even go Flame Guard in this lane? Go into the jungle. We're going to see the spear that you're talking about fly into the tier 1. Impetus to follow, and the enchant. And yeah, the tier 1 tower doing most of the damage there. And Bach, for TNC, gets first blood. But what recovery does Abed have for this? Like, how does he come back from this rough start?
So there's 2 general paths Ember will take in a lane like this. Either you start leveling up Flame Guard and you go and farm jungle camps when you can't really lane efficiently anymore, or you go for a combat-heavy build with slight chains and you have to make moves. And that seems to be the approach he has here. Ember with this build can't jungle very effectively, obviously. You don't have your farming spell. So really has to try to play fast, we'll see. He gets this rune with the 2 in chains. I think Armel not expecting this at all.
Yeah.
If anyone was down here to take the bottom water, that would have actually been really big, but Armel should still be getting it by the looks of it. Unless... Here's slight chains again.
Chains, all right. Double water rune for Abed. Can he turn this around into Armel?
It's not going to kill him, but this is still really, really good from Abed.
If this was an Earth Spirit game, he'd probably be dead, right?
Yes, for sure.
There's a big difference here with Lion this time. Oh, nice. Initiation onto Gabby in the bot lane. Getting saved for now. Yeah, but Ice next to the tree, so that Whirling Death pure damage is way too much to deal with. As Crit tanking up the tower, actually does get off the Fairy Fire, but still dies in the end.
He tanked that for way too long.
Yeah,
great
like
surround by Arteezy here.
Yeah, nice skewer though by Bot. So Tims shall live through the day. Booming in the meantime. Now he's getting pressured by Ice. I mean, he's level 4, has a couple levels in reactive armor. I mean, the Cold Embrace is... It's a good spell, but against all this pure damage from Ice, especially once he gets 6, it's just not much of a tool, it feels like.
Not the best lane at all for Luna here. That is the one lane where it feels like EG are winning currently. Bach having a great time top on the mag with the help of Enchantress. Mid lane has kind of been equalized from Abed's double rune take.
Yeah, you're right. Wow.
He has caught up. Batrider had to...
Armel's gotten 2 last hits in, like, our last conversation he had 15.
He was out of mana.
That's crazy.
Batrider can't see us for anything without mana. It's one of the worst base damages in the game.
So we have another skewer, this time onto Arteezy. This would be a pretty big kill for TNC, but they just don't have enough to finish him off, especially with that Aphotic Shield applied by Fly. As this Treant's out now, as we see a Hex in the bot lane from Crit, but nothing will come of it, although Ice continuing to just pressure as a Whirling Death. Don't think they're going to get the kill here. But he can tank all these creeps, and I mean, this is going to be an issue, especially with this siege here. Although it looks like the siege will be aggroed by the tower eventually. I mean, Ice, he's getting a little bit low, but I feel like with 1 TP potentially on TNC's side, they could potentially get this kill. But Ice is not scared of anybody. Going on top of Winnie, there's the TP we're talking about. Crit, looks like the other TP from Arteezy now. They're going to be able to clean up Gabby relatively easily. Now Ice, making some pressure from Tims. There's the Hex to counteract from Crit. And both Boomy and Tims are pretty low. Arteezy, though, takes an impetus to the back of the head. Looks like he's just going to dodge this. Earth Spike. Actually, the right clicks are enough for Crit. This lane is just getting turned around big time in EG's favor.
This is what carry Nature's
Second kill
can
for
do.
Luna.
It's
wow.
really, really crucial.
Or second death for Luna, I should say.
I really like the way Ice is playing this bottom lane. He's playing it to the limit because he knows that if TNC try a little bit too much to counterplay him, that Arteezy TP is available. This is something EG have played a lot, so they're very experienced with playing around that safe lane teleportation coming in. And it pays off big time there. They get the Luna kill, they stay alive on Timber, and they force the TP down from Ench, which in turn frees up top lane for 1v1 for a Baton against Mag. You're going to be able to sit here as a Baton and get some CS and some free experience. So.
Yeah, in terms of CS, or in terms of net worth at least, Abed has taken the lead over Armel. Neither of which are really, I mean, look at the comparison here. They're just in the middle of the pack, so nothing special from either side. But again, Abed did off to a pretty bad start, so to see him essentially take the lead here, nicely done for EG.
Yep, his skill build now currently 2 and 4. So maxed out Slight for that constant harassment from a distance. Doesn't need to come in close to use the Flame Guard in fights, which in turn keeps him a lot safer against Batrider in general. All right, Armel is thinking about it.
Yep, Firefly already expended. The Sleight of Fist continuing to just be a pain in the ass for TNC. RP is available now for Mr. Magnus in that top lane.
Fly covering the top rune, it is bottom, however.
Double Remnant with the Arteezy TP, but they can't really find the chains yet. Abed looks like with that ult from Arteezy is more than enough to net them a kill in the mid lane. And with that aphotic shield damage, ends up being a double kill. Now Gabby with the Eclipse, but a lot of it is being tanked by the Treants. Doesn't really matter. He finds the proc and the right clicks that he needs. And with the rotation of Bach, they get a double kill for Boomy of all heroes. Interesting.
Oh, he's rich.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's talk Wyvern quickly. It really has been the hero of the tournament in many ways in the last 2 days. Is this a Locket game or is it a Lens game again? I'm feeling the Locket a bit more here. It should be really good against Carry Nature's Prophet. It's decent against Ember, like decent-ish, especially when he's going the build that he is. You still have to deal with the Timbersaw pure damage and the Lion Finger, but there's more merit to going the healing build this game. So I'm curious to see if that swings him to that build or if he's going to stay on the same path as last game where he went for the Aether Lens and played more around his curse rather than the saves.
Armel showing himself here, kind of a baby Timber Chain there. He gets his ult off for now. Armel, there we go with the cancel. Nice lasso. And Boomy again, a dominating streak for him. He gets off the curse. It's only going to apply to the Lion for now, but here comes Abed from afar.
Did he miss the chains? He didn't cast them.
He didn't cast them, but he's coming with the double remnants. Arteezy as well. With that global TP. We saw this in game 1. Cold Embrace is just going to delay the inevitable. So EG, despite losing Timbersaw, will get the mid laner.
Yeah. This is the #1 lane counter to Timber, by the way. You really want a Batrider to go to Timber's lane and mess with him. He has no counterplay when you have Lasso. He's just dead. So Armel with a good rotation, but EG with a good response. Very close so far. Worth keeping in mind, of course, this is a game with Magnus Luna on one team, and the other team's carry is a little bit less characteristic for the patch in that Nature's Prophet. So usually EG, when they're running this lineup, build themselves a big advantage early on, and they have not done that this game. They have a slight one.
Do you think Abed builds a little bit more right-clicky on the Ember Spirit this game than we're used to seeing? I feel like we see kind of variations, maybe even hybrid builds at times, but maybe this is a kind of a blast from the past with more right-click. Physical damage.
I think it's a bit dangerous if you go too physical because you're playing into Wyvern, right? So maybe some sort of Maelstrom build would be pretty stable. All right, nice.
Oh my goodness. Bach has to use RP, and he might still be dead if... No, Ice doesn't want to continue on here.
Very nice aggression there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're aggressing in another lane as well. Transmit together with the Abaddon, and the Siege Creep is on the way. Already being pinged by Boomy. They need to help defend this mid tower. And that is not a Radiant TP. That's another Nature's Prophet teleport with more Treants.
He is all over the place. Very active Nature's Prophet player.
They're too late.
This is a tier 1 tower. They know the RP is down, so Bach doesn't really pose that much of a threat right now. Gets the shockwave off, but Ice from above. Not going to be able to find a kill, at least not yet.
Great move from EG to get that mid tower. That is very important for them. You want to access the enemy triangle as early as possible. You want to prevent Luna from out-farming the Nature's Prophet by using this area, and they're immediately in here. They're blocking the camp with a sentry. And they do have the luxury of placing Timbersaw here some of the time. The problem is, because of this last pick Batrider, he's still not safe doing it, but he can obviously force rotation.
Does he need to... I mean, I'm guessing he has to get a Lotus.
You get Hood Lotus this game, I think.
Yeah.
Hood is insane value. He already has that. Queuing up a Soul Ring currently for that farming efficiency, I would imagine. So yeah, I think Hood, Soul Ring, Lotus sounds very good.
So early, slight advantage for EG, another close game. Man, game 1 is such an aberration, it feels like. I mean, EG played well, don't get me wrong, but do you think with the elimination, I don't know, I was going to say TNC are feeling nerves because they are quite young in nature, but at the same time, they wouldn't have come back in game 2 like that if they were affected, I feel like. So
and it's not the first series on the main stage that followed that line, right?
Yeah,
Quincy against No Ping was an absolute stomp in game 1. It was 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then suddenly No Ping took game 2, and we had a very competitive game 3 for all the right reasons. Top tower.
Gabby with the Mask of Madness.
Abed
is here, gets the Searing Chain off. into the Sleight of Fist. My goodness, that actually is enough damage to get the kill. But here's the Winter's Curse into Lasso, into, yeah, everything. Literally 3 ults used to take out Abed, but it is successful, and they get the tier 1 tower as well.
That seems well worth it. Obviously, Eclipse might seem like a big commitment, but the types of fights right now that would happen where Luna connects are few and far in between. That's how you say it nowadays. It's,
yeah, are you okay?
Yeah, it's from it's a TikTok trend. You wouldn't understand. All right, Fly's gonna dive.
That is true. You could always pull that card on me. Is Ice and Fly both pressuring Boomy, but he's, I mean, EG doesn't want to make the same mistakes as last game, Synderen. I saw a lot of talk about how they shouldn't have been diving the enemy base, essentially, especially when they were fighting so close to it. But, you know, when the pressure is high, and even with these really experienced teams...
Whoa, Ice, that is a very confident move.
Okay, well, the Finger of Death is going to come in, but there's the Cold Embrace and the mech on top of him. Bach. He's going to use his RP. Only hits on Ice, and the Aquatic Shield just takes everything off. They find the Enchantress. Arteezy is TP'd in.
Firefly on cooldown.
I have no idea how that worked out for EG, but it sure did. Ice is basically back to full HP again.
They must have communicated that Firefly's on cooldown. That is an insane dive if Batrider is ready to fight. Like, if he can just TP in with all spells ready. Even without Lasso, it doesn't even matter. Like, when you're diving in this area, Batrider is just the king of early game Dota, but wasn't able to, so it turns out very nicely for them. They get the Finger kill. Well, Ice seems to just not care in general about anything. He's just going to live here.
Yeah.
Knows that he forced RP, so...
Absolutely.
And obviously, both Lasso and Eclipse being expended up top was part of that decision-making.
Timbersaw as a hero is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Look at this freaking guy.
It's
Doesn't
really
have
funny
much
until
mana,
you play
soaring.
against it. Kind of like Brood.
That's not quite the same. Let's be real. Yep, tier 2
Tower's
tower
gone.
getting quite low. Was that a TP cancel there from TNC? So yeah, they're just going to give this up.
I love the way EG is playing this right now. I think this is...
Oh, Sleight of Fist Searing Chains into the Chakram. It's going to force a potential skewer. Nope, not even needed.
I wonder why he went the mech.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the mech as well for Bach.
I think it definitely makes sense. It's not like it's a bad item by any means on Magnus in this game. You do have a lot of damage from Batrider and Luna, so you don't have to go damage items, but it at the same time feels like a dagger would pay a lot of dividends in this game.
Yeah.
Just
maybe
every
relying
repositioning
on
skewer.
Batrider a little bit.
Yeah, but that's a little bit dangerous against Ember, Lion, and Abaddon for now. Later on, Batrider can be very much relied upon to get catches in these fights, but with a quick dagger, any skewer on, you know, Abaddon, on Lion, on Nature's Prophet should probably lead to kills. The only guy you can't really skewer kill right now is the Ember Spirit. Even Timber you could honestly kill if you skewer him into a bad enough spot.
Armel.
This is a good ward they have here. Currently he's just seeing Fly, so it doesn't look like they're too interested. But they managed to push out top area pretty far, so would imagine one of EG's heroes will be showing up there, and maybe that could lead them to a cross-map smoke.
Yeah, Abed. Sleight of Fist does connect on Armel. Has Boots of Travel right now, going towards a BKB, so not opting for a second item Blink.
Tim's.
So it looks like that might align with the Blink on Magnus, since the Bat's going to be farming a lot faster. But yeah, Gabby is doing his job.
It actually does get denied. Fly was standing on top of a haste rune, and it just got broken by the Enchantress because he wanted to save it. They didn't even pick it up.
Sad.
Yeah, not that it would have mattered. Just funny.
It looks like Tim's working on Solar Crest himself.
Yeah,
No
interesting
levels
highlight
untouchable.
there, yeah. I mean, it is a pretty bad spell this game, to be honest, but he's going to get it now on level 9. Value point mainly against Nature's Prophet, I guess. It's useless against Timber. It's pretty bad against Ember, who hits anyway with Sleight of Fist. And against Abaddon and Lion, you don't really carry there. So I honestly wouldn't even have minded if he didn't skill it at all to begin with. Like, if he would have prioritized maxing both Impetus and...
Ice Flame Break will bring him back into the Lasso and Eclipse. He is quite tanky, but not tanky enough.
But
Fly.
Shannon, they have Abaddon.
Yeah,
Why isn't he just saving him?
Well, if he had a global cast range on Aphotic Shield, then it would be a very good counter, I think. As the Tier 1 tower will be taken by TNC as well.
Wow, I just realized they have a 3k gold lead.
Yeah,
that happened
absolutely.
really suddenly. Just Luna out farming on the map. Obviously, Magnus and Power might be playing a little bit of a role in ramping up their speed with that damage. And, I mean, obviously a little bit tongue-in-cheek there with the Abaddon comment. If he is in range, he can save there. It's just, it's really hard to always be in the right spot at the right time. as a Batten.
No, you just right-click
and
your carry.
Like, the thing is, even if he is
follow him
there,
around everywhere.
there's no guarantee that this happens anyway. Like, they can coordinate some sort of a lasso grab into a Lucent Beam on a Batten, right? Like, anything that just stops him for a moment. And Timbersaw is out of range because Batrider has way more move speed than the Abaddon does with these travels. You can just pull him away. So you literally need to have your Aphotic Shield ready and be within the cast range when the lasso happens, or you're never getting there.
Yep.
So very, very limited space.
You know, back in the day, Mistcoil used to have a short range, and Aphotic Shield had a long range.
Oh, that's when Abaddon was the first pick
He
in Dota
was
1. I remember.
mega
That was,
OP.
He had 800 cast range on Shield, I think. Oh, that was so good.
Now you need Aether Lens and Seer Stone, and you need a tier 5 item to
all the cast range
accomplish that.
items obviously didn't exist back then, so having an 800 range hard save, I believe Oracle wasn't even a hero.
No,
Abaddon was
not.
incredible for a while.
I mean, Gabby is starting to run away with this game right now, Syndra. I mean, he has played like an absolute beast throughout this entire tournament. I think he's been the most consistent member, maybe Tim's as well, but like from a carry perspective, I feel like Gabby has really really impressed so far.
And I wonder what carry Nature's Prophet's win rate is when you reach the 20-minute mark and you're behind on gold. It can't be that good. Like, their team is behind by 3K, and Nature's Prophet himself is behind the Luna. Like, in my experience, every successful carry Nature's Prophet game, he's top of the net worth. Basically the whole way. He has a global teleport with like no cooldown, so you can farm more than almost any hero in Dota most of the time.
Oh, Crit might tank this gank. Yep, wow, that was quite quick indeed. I mean, is there a power spike for each respective team? I mean, the double blink eventually will come for both the Magnus and the Batrider, and I feel like that is kind of go time for TNC. And then for EG, what exactly is their timing? Because
I feel like
that's Lotus on Timber, that's not really. I mean, he's not even going for it.
That's the problem that I have with this lineup, is that I don't see the next timing that is stronger than TNC's counter timing, right? Like, what item are you looking at? Is it a Hex on Nature's Prophet, maybe? Is it some sort of overwhelming damage that he can somehow farm? He's going BKB because he needs to be able to stand his ground against Bat Luna. So has to do that pit stop defensive item. And that, in turn, just means Luna just keeps over-farming him that much more.
Yeah.
I think...
Arteezy gets a little bit of vision on Armel, but... I mean, and the other thing is getting these BKBs is blocked. Oh, gets the RP off after the Timber Chain back into him. Now Ice he is fine. And Abed is here as well with that Sleight of Fist onto a couple of heroes. He's going to take a solo curse. Won't last particularly long. Gets the Remnant off in time. Crit with a nice Impale onto 2. And there's the burst damage with the Timber Chain into the Impale. But there's the Eclipse to follow. Double kill for Arteezy to start this fight as both the Luna and Wyvern have dropped.
That is EG's timing. Outplay.
Yeah, I guess so.
That is, they really needed that. So RP being expended and not leading to a kill, Ice barely surviving with the Essence Ring into Aphotic Shield off the edge of the fight. And when Armel came in, immediately gets stopped by Crit. That was just basically flawless from EG in that instance, and they needed something like that. I feel like they are relying on outplay with their strategy currently, and this time around it works, and that's a big reward.
Yeah,
they get the carry and the Roche. Wonder if you give the Aegis to Abed or Arteezy. I think you give it to Abed, but
I think that's what they're...
That is why they're giving it to Arteezy.
All right, excellent analysis as always.
Yep. Okay, they're back.
Yes, they are. I mean,
Nature's Prophet just caught up.
It's not just that fight. Oh, you might get some more kills on top of this. Armel getting chased by Arteezy. Can't hide in the trees for too long. Crit with that Blink Dagger. There's the Earth Spike. And the right clicks will suffice. So a huge kill from EG on top of the already one team fight and Roshan that they just got. So a lot of momentum on their side.
That's a BKB for Arteezy with this kill.
But talk to me about, I mean, I know you need to get BKB, but obviously there is Lasso, there is RP to counteract, even Curse. They have 3 BKB piercing ults.
Yeah.
How big of an issue is that for EG? Or is it just like you just have to kind of kite them a bit?
It's definitely an issue. You do still have the Abaddon, right, who can try to solve it if you're not BKB'd when you do get RP'd, or...
as long as he's not silenced, right?
Yeah, so it is still a problem, but I don't think buying BKB is wrong here. Nature's Prophet's ability to stand and deliver in this game really largely depends on not dying to collateral damage. And there's just too much of that against Wyvern, Bat, Luna. So I do think Arteezy's itemization in this game is good. Once again, the concern is just that he wasn't ahead. But now that they've equalized it, I see a way after that fight and the Aegis for EG to buy enough time that they can maybe reach a small timing where they're just stronger than the Radiant lineup. But a lot of it comes down to, are you playing around Lasso correctly? Are you playing around RP correctly? And so far, in these last few minutes, EG have definitely done a very good job.
RP is back up, though. As we can see, Gabby actually in the tree line. He's going to pop his Manta to try to cut this wave a bit. Still, I was going to say still top net worth, but actually no. Arteezy has just overtaken him for now.
Crit opting to TP up here to kill 2 illusions. Maybe he instantly TP'd when he saw the first illusion run in, thinking Gabby might have been cheeky enough to go for the real cut. But obviously understanding the importance of creep waves here, and will complete it to kill off these 2 illusions just so that wave gets to move. And they get that more map pressure coming out. Still, even with that Aegis, I still like TNC's position in the game. But EG, in terms of the map right now, have managed to really get a bit of a foothold now on the enemy side. So TNC will need to find a big fight to get a little bit of map control back.
Yeah, with this Aegis, EG is going to be pretty comfortable to poke some of these towers. Looks like they'll go for the tier 2 mid since there is a full wave here, although they are scanned. I don't know, with this Aegis, I would assume you want to take some sort of a fight, but it actually really is hard to play into all these ults as TNC is not afraid to fight, despite not having the Aegis themselves. BKB now online for Gabby, so that is a pretty giant item to have for your position 1.
All TNC needs is a lasso or a skewer on Nature's Prophet, and he dies twice.
Are you surprised there's no blink on
Oh,
Armel?
Arteezy's actually farming this camp. This could be really, really bad.
Yeah,
They're going to find him.
they see him. Sticky Napalm to start things out. Flame Break actually pushes him a little bit, pops his BKB, but of course there's the lasso into the right clicks of Gabby. Arteezy gets off his ult, but that is just the Aegis. Reinforcements are on the way. They're starting to connect here. There's Abed. There's the Eclipse, and yeah, Arteezy just getting decimated. Fly can't even get there in time. Pops his ult a little bit prematurely. Tries to get a Aphotic Shield onto Ice, but there's the RP. There is the cancel with the Aphotic Shield to follow. Now the Winter Skirts onto 2. Looks like they'll find Bach at the very beginning of this fight. The fight might actually extend here. 4v4 without their position 1 Nature's Prophet. Abed still with that Flame Guard applied. Trying to chase somebody down in the meantime, but you see the Finger of Death used to take out Tim's. Gabby finds his escape inside the tree line, and now the chase looks like it's on Armel, but that Firefly is back up. And the constellation for EG might just have to be booming.
That went better for EG than I thought it would. They do get Arteezy twice, but the 3 return kills with RP, Eclipse, and Lasso used. Fly had really good positioning there against the RP, and obviously his hero is very good against Mag, because you can get RP together with your carry, immediately pop your ult, and then shield. So made sure to nullify that.
Arteezy BKB'd on the first life, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I
feel like you maybe saved that for the second life, right?
Don't think that really mattered.
No?
No, I don't think so. But maybe it would have been a little bit better the other way around, but in the end, I think his team would have been late to save him regardless. But yeah, EG do get something out of their Aegis. It is a small victory for them, but obviously the big story here for TNC is Luna survived. So she will be progressing even further. Itemization, going for a Pike now,
yeah,
it looks like.
I feel like against Sprout, you kind of have to. You don't want to get stuck inside these annoying trees.
Yeah, he wants to replace that Quelling slot as well.
And plus, once Shard is online for Nature's Prophet,
that is true.
The Quelling Blade doesn't do anything. Just becomes a greater treant that you have to fight instead. So AC looks to be next for Arteezy. Obviously, going to be really good for not only tankiness, but to provide extra damage for these building hittings and hero hittings as well, as they call it. But yeah, talk about this Ice build. So he's going to go for, actually no, he changed his itemization again. Was going to go for the Lotus, but went for the Sage Kaya first, and then had Lotus queued up, but now changing his mind again.
Is he going to disassemble into Bloodstone plus Halberd against Luna, maybe?
This does look like a disassemble play, potentially.
It's not too bad. I still like the Lotus a lot in this game. I feel like it has a lot of merits. It's a really good item against Wyvern. It's a really good item against Bat. But yeah, maybe he feels like he needs to play more for himself. Like, he's concerned that even if Arteezy's having a good game, that Nature's Prophet needs more damage assistance in the late game, so he might be building himself up to be more of a like carry style. And that you just don't get that the same way with Lotus Orb as you do with the Bloodstone. So that could be the thing here.
Ooh, a couple
Enchanted
of really,
Quiver.
yeah, that's a couple nice
Sliver for EG.
there.
They will give that to, well, will he keep that on Nature's Prophet? Maybe he will.
I think so. I mean, you have status resist on Timber. Ember has a lot of escape mechanisms. Arteezy really just has TP, but a lot of ways to deal with it if you're TNC. So the extra status resist is nice. Although now he has Enchanted Quiver, so I guess you gotta choose.
Yeah. He could give that to Ember, the Quiver. Elven Tunic as well. Man, so many options.
Not a whole lot of options.
Tunic is not
though.
that good this game.
Yeah, it's just against the right clicks of Luna, really.
Yeah.
And I guess Impetus to some degree.
It's okay, but I think the other two items are both better. So he's probably going to keep the Sliver, I'd imagine.
Yeah, assembled AC now for Arteezy. The next Roche, we won't know for 50 seconds. And as usual, that will be a big turning point potentially in the game.
Tim's is trying to force a reaction top. That could be his demise if he stays around a little bit longer, but good read. We'll be backing out here. The smoke from EG will not find anything.
Oh, the tomato dies of its own accord. How sad. Yeah, 8-second BKB still for Armel. Okay, yeah, talk to me again. He finally gets the Blink Dagger. So it was the third item. Does that surprise you at all? I mean, we've seen it before, but in this particular game, especially when Magnus doesn't go for a Blink right away, is that surprising? Or do you think it's just they're trying to align the items?
I think it's fine.
Be together.
BKB on Bat is a mandatory item this game, in my opinion. You need to be able to play around Ember and Lion. It really enables you to use Firefly effectively in fights. So I think most players in this tournament would have gone the same order on a mid-bat.
TNC is smoked.
This is really big for them if they can find the Lion and Ember first. They get a really good attack angle by coming in behind. They see this with Night Vision. Could be in trouble.
Yeah, initiation there, but nice Searing Chains to stop him in place, but it's not going to matter. It'll still be the death of Crit. So a 4v5 situation now as EG's on the run. Fly has to Aphotic Shield himself, which means RPing could be pretty value here, but there, Arteezy going to town onto Tims to start this fight out. Bak already forced out by Abed. There's a Winter Scars that's going to be applied onto 3 heroes for EG, and Abed basically solo kills Bak with no RP even expended. And now Ice basically unkillable, is just going to go right into Gabby, who pops his BKB inside that Sprout. Blocked off now, has to TP out, will be successful. The question is, can EG find any more after this? Tim's getting chased. Will be connected on, and that should be the death of Tim. So a 2-for-1, despite having, I mean, that was really good play by Abed, just being isolated from his team and killing the Magnus right away.
He understood what the one way he can win this fight for his team is to make sure there's no RP ever going off. And he did that perfectly. He just sat on the Mag the whole fight until he was dead. And I thought that was going to be a great start for TNC, and so did they, right? You kill the Lion, he's not buying back.
Lucent Beam actually connects mid-Timber Chain for Ice. He's still quite tanky. Fly is there for the heals. Yeah. Okay, so he took it apart and makes a Bloodstone Halberd.
Now he's going hard.
Interesting. Okay. Really doesn't care about Lotus this game. That's very surprising, but still cool to see. We're going to get tons of regen.
Maybe he trusts that the Abaddon Shield is enough, but, you know, like, if you're not buying BKB on Timber, you're obviously a very easy target for Fly to shield convincingly, but...
Oh, Lucent Beam into the Skewer, back into enemy lines. Fly.
Are they gonna leave?
They're kind of scared of EG getting some retribution here, but yeah. Looks like they'll find him in the end, but Ice jumps in pretty deep. Impetus is there. Remember, no save now because Fly is dead, and this is going to cost Ice his life, so maybe a little bit miscommunication from EG.
That was ugly.
And now Roche is alive, so this is really good timing for TNC.
Yep.
Abed does have the double damage pop, though.
They still have RP as well, so...
Yeah.
Oh, just barely
Sleight
out
of
of range.
Fist misses there, but this will be a Roche attempt. Gabby.
They have Solar Crests. I think they can do this in time before the Timber spawns.
30 seconds? Yes. I think they can kill this in 30 seconds.
Well, it would be slowed down a lot if Ember came and poked them, right? But if EG are not delaying, this happens in time. They're finally going to scout it out now, see that it's half.
Yeah, no buybacks, though.
Ooh, this is such a big mistake from EG to lose their Timber there.
Yes.
This is Roche number 2.
Oh, Arteezy TP's in. The Sprout. They're actually going to connect now. There's the RP on top of the BKB, but a nice impale from Lion into the Finger of Death. Blows up Armel. Winter's Curse only on 1. Somehow EG is forcing TNC out. Not even a Roche taken, and now Ice is up. And this is going to be a free Roche for EG. Are you serious? That is Aegis, that is Cheese, that is Shard, which is actually taken by Arteezy. So now the Sprout will spawn 2 greater tree ants.
I remember like 40 seconds ago when you were making fun of me for implying that TNC
They
might not
could
be
have.
able to do that
They
in time.
stepped out of the pit. They got cute with themselves, Cinderin, all right?
Yeah, not a too big fan of that RP, to be honest. I don't know if Armel's BKB
goodness.
was on cooldown, but Crit with a really heads-up stun made sure Batrider had no impact in that fight. You gotta remember for TNC, yeah, you're going into that pit and you got the 2 kills, but you committed a lot of spells for the previous fight.
Yeah.
You used Lasso as well as Eclipse just to kill the Timber. So if you're opting to take that fight outside of the pit, half of your strength isn't even available to you. So I do think, I mean, it's easy for us to say in hindsight, they should have stayed in that pit and killed the Roche. Like, even if Arteezy comes in, you finish the Roche as part of the fight, and then you hope you can disengage, or you don't take the fight at all. But it is so easy for us to say from our perspective.
Yeah, because we have all the vision, all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That is a very tricky position to be in, but what a great play from Arteezy to go and defend that, knowing how important that is and that he could pull that off.
Absolutely, and with that, I mean, that's a 6K swing, essentially. I think it was really even at that point.
It was.
Second Roche, obviously a really big deal. Now EG kind of in the driver's seat for the time being. Of course, I mean, if you're looking at this late game, Luna is a monster. But we'll see if Gabby can pull this out or not. Still, now 4K behind, or 3K behind, just between the 2 position 1s.
Yeah, he's about to complete the butter.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Obviously, when you do have Empower, it increases the value a lot of having both stat items and crit, so he's getting there, but
Arteezy has Satanic out of nowhere.
yeah,
My God,
he got a lot of gold out of that fight.
He is giant. Speaking of giant, those greater tree ants are freaking awesome. What a cool shard, I have to say. If you're playing against Jenkins, it's pretty annoying because he doesn't play position 1. He's like this worthless position 5 that just TPs into the trees, makes them, and then TPs away with his boots of travel.
He buys Meteor Hammer Shard.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have like one guy in your friend group that does that on Nature's Prophet, and when Prophet is banned, that guy probably plays techies or something.
That's true. Oh.
We all know a guy.
Gabby does officially have the butterfly.
And
he can actually drop his boots because of the spider legs
Yes,
now.
exactly. He has spider legs, so has that access to an additional slot where he doesn't need to go boots. Just like you're a fan of Flicker as a tier 4 item, I think for carries, this is my pick for a late game tier 3 item, that's for sure.
Yeah, and if you don't get one dropped, it feels extremely bad. Arteezy, another couple minutes on this Aegis. They definitely want to make use of this. It's now Ice working on a Shiva's. Already has the plate mail in his inventory, so super tank mode now. He's the 3rd most farm on the entire map. I mean, I have to admit, Abed, in terms of the farm, has not been stellar this game. I mean, he's making a lot of space, though. I think that's kind of his job. Going towards an Aghanim Scepter himself. He is holding the cheese right now, as there's a smoke now from EG.
Good read there from TNC to back off. They are going to dodge this entirely.
Remember, this is an elimination game. Whoever loses this game is out of the tournament.
Mel still needs to find his way out of this now. He could get blinked on by Lion,
Yeah,
which
we
will
see the
happen.
Firefly into the blink. Arteezy gets some vision!
Good movement.
Doesn't have a sheep or anything, so I made that a little too hype. My bad.
Well, if Ember could have connected some slight chains or something, that could have got exciting. But non-range.
All right, we're at the 35-minute mark. Arteezy TP's in. Wow, Bach. Whew. Right next to Arteezy. This could be a big kill. RP is up. He has vision here. You're going to see Fly. Photic Shield applied to himself. Gabby spider-legging himself
It's the
through the
most
tree
bizarre
line.
pathing I've seen. There's like 2 cores just running through the bottom trees.
Yeah, it is an insanely good item. No doubt about it. I mean, if there was an item that was just boots, without any special effect, it would be a really good neutral item. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what
Like
you
it
mean.
literally just replaces boots.
Yeah.
That's how crazy Spider Legs is. Gives you that extra. I mean, it turns your turn rate into 1.0, I think, right? Or at
It
least
gives you
reduces
terrain
it.
walking, better turn, better move speed.
It's good stuff.
Very strong item.
And he will be working on the Satanic. Just a Reaver away. Now, okay. Does Gabby save for buyback, or does he just buy the Satanic? He just buys the Satanic. So if he dies, the game might just end. Especially against a Nature's
he's
Prophet.
gonna buy the Satanic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, what does he go for now? Like, do you just consume an Ags? I mean, you replace your boots, I guess, like we talked about. You can go for a Satanic, perhaps?
I really like
the
the
Scotty, I mean.
On Luna, I really like the data list because you have Empower. I think they need more. They need more damage right now. it is the way that they've built their lineup, right? You have a Magnus offlane, but he's going full utility items. He didn't just get the mech, he went mech, blink, glimmer, lens. This guy does not deal damage. Box build is fully utility. And Armel, the mid Batrider, kind of fell off a little bit, so his damage is also not fully reliable. So Luna needs to hit very hard, so I fully agree with Daedalus. I think it's the right choice.
Okay.
Has some ground to cover, though. But EG don't seem too successful in finding moves in this last 5 minutes. Even with the advantage that they had with that Aegis Cheese, haven't really converted it into much. TNC are reading the map very well and avoiding these rotations.
You can see Abed now building towards an Aeon Disc. Has his Aghanim Scepter already, so that just makes his Remnants mega fast, essentially. And then the Shard, it's kind of a weird one. I can't tell if this one's good. It just applies like a little damage over time to your Remnants, and then if somebody dies around them, you get another one or something like that, right? So